A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant display of dissent, large crowds have gathered across the United States for the No Kings protests, marking a strong opposition to the policies and leadership style of President Donald Trump. This movement, dubbed by some Republicans as Hate America rallies, has drawn participants from all walks of life, uniting them under a common cause, to challenge what they perceive as a drift towards authoritarianism in American governance. The protests took place on a Saturday, with events organized in over 2,700 locations, from bustling urban centers to quieter communities. The demonstrations come at a time when the federal government is in the midst of a shutdown, a situation that has intensified frustrations among citizens who feel their voices are being drowned out by partisan politics. In Washington, D.C., protesters filled the streets, with many carrying signs that proclaimed their love for America while criticizing the current administration. One demonstrator, Brian Raymond, expressed his discontent over being labeled a terrorist by Republican leaders, stating, "This is America. I disagree with their politics, but I don't believe that they don't love this country. I believe they are misguided. I think they are power-hungry." Raymond's sentiments echoed a wider frustration among attendees who feel their patriotism is being questioned. The protests were not just limited to Washington, D.C. In New York City, thousands gathered in Times Square, chanting slogans like "Trump must go now," while others waved American flags and held signs with strong messages against the president's policies, particularly his immigration stance. Retired family doctor Terrence McCormick, who planned to join the march to Arlington National Cemetery, voiced concern over the militarization of the police and the use of National Guard troops for political purposes. As the protests unfolded, Trump remained at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, where he participated in a high-profile fundraiser. In a recent interview, he dismissed claims that he is acting like a king, asserting, "I'm not a king." This statement, however, did little to quell the anger of protesters who feel that his administration's actions are undermining democratic principles. The No Kings protests represent the third major mobilization since Trump returned to office in January. Organizers, including progressive groups like Indivisible, have been working to build a unified front against what they see as an authoritarian regime. Ezra Levin, a co-founder of Indivisible, remarked, "There is no greater threat to an authoritarian regime than patriotic people power." This sentiment was echoed by prominent Democratic figures, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who joined the protests to lend their support. As the day progressed, the atmosphere was charged with energy and determination. Many participants expressed their commitment to defending democratic values and the Constitution, with slogans emphasizing the need for freedom and justice. The protests also served as a platform for individuals to voice their opposition to the government's shutdown, which they blame on the current administration's unwillingness to negotiate on key issues like healthcare funding. Republican leaders, however, have attempted to frame the protests as extremist gatherings, labeling participants as communists and Marxists. House Speaker Mike Johnson referred to the events as Hate America rallies and challenged the legitimacy of the protesters' claims. Despite this, the turnout and solidarity displayed by participants suggest that the movement is resonating with a significant segment of the population. As the protests unfolded, smaller gatherings were also reported in major European cities, where Americans abroad demonstrated their support for the movement, further indicating the widespread discontent with Trump's presidency. The No Kings protests are not merely a reaction to current events, but symbolize a broader struggle for the soul of American democracy. With millions expected to participate, the movement is poised to challenge the status quo and advocate for a return to democratic norms and values. As the nation grapples with these issues, it remains to be seen how the government will respond to the growing calls for accountability and reform. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.